oh my gosh, I got a pimple that's like right here up in my nostril, and you know those ones where you can just feel it, like, ugh, so annoying. Hi everyone, my name is Holly, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a list of 5 books that you could possibly read in one day. So I know that everyone reads at a totally different pace. Some of us can read a lot faster than others. I would actually consider myself kind of like a middle of the road, edging on slower reader compared to a lot of people that I know who read like freaking robots. I actually like to read every single word on the page and make sure that I can perfectly paint a image in my head. So not only are these books really short, but I also made sure to pick ones that are fast-paced. Their plot has some type of element that makes you want to just sit down and read it in one sitting to find out what the heck's going on. Oh, I also wanted to quickly mention that I'm not talking about manga or graphic novels. I am specifically talking about novels. I have some fantasy here, some middle grade, some contemporary, and even a horror. So let's get into things. So the very first book that I have here that you should be able to read within a day, if not in a single weekend, is Doll Bones by Holly Black. So Holly Black is kind of blowing up within the book world right now because of her new series, The Cruel Prince, which has a totally new spin on fairies, but I really wanted to take a step back and mention this one specifically because I know that there's a lot of you who haven't even heard of it. So this is basically a ghost story about a creepy freaking doll with the ashes of a dead girl inside of it. Yeah, a girl whom the kids, the main characters in the story, randomly decide that they want to take this doll and bring her to her resting place. That quest-like plot alone had me sitting down and just binge reading the whole thing. I really enjoyed watching these characters kind of learn more about themselves and bonding together because they're actually all hiding secrets, and that element had me itching to find out how each of their secrets would affect this quest. It's also a middle grade, so it's very fun and easy to read. The next book I have here is a contemporary, and I know, shocker, but that is The Apple Tart of Hope by Sarah Moore Fitzgerald. The Apple Tart of Hope is a quick little read that I actually really enjoyed. The narrative is really well written and compelling, and it follows 2 perspectives. We have Meg and we have Oscar, who are very close friends, but Meg unfortunately gets the news one day that Oscar has gone missing. And his bike and his shoes were found at the ocean at the end of the pier, so he is presumed dead. Meg and Oscar's little brother finds this very suspicious, and it leads them to kind of investigate this news to find out what actually happened. So that mystery really clings on to you until the final page. There are so many things that I really loved about this novel. It's set in Ireland, so that depiction of that kind of small town life was really fun. The author expertly balances light and dark moods, so there are feelings of hopelessness within this novel, but then there's also compassion and friendship. The dual points of views really highlighted our characters' motivations for each other. It was really interesting to see how each were feeling within a similar situation, which is one of my favorite things about multi-perspective stories. The writing is very lyrical and fresh, and it really helps push the story along nicely. So if you're not into contemporary like how I am, right, but want something cute and short, because this story is very, very short, then I highly recommend checking this one out. It's definitely a book that you can read easily in one sitting. The Apple Tart of Hope. It fed me and it satisfied me. The next book I have here is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. This book is one of the best horror slash thriller novels that I have ever read. Actually, an employee at Barnes & Noble recommended it to me a few years ago, and I picked it up and read it immediately, and it blew my mind. And the story has stuck with me ever since. To this day, I think about it. So as soon as you pick this up, you instantly realize that something very sinister is going on in this world. Something that cannot be explained easily by anybody. It appears that out there, lurking in the open air, is something or some things that will turn people mad simply by making eye contact. People are shut into their homes, covering their windows, and completely isolating themselves from the sights and sounds of the outside world. And you have to blindfold yourself before venturing outside. It is absolutely insane and so creepy, and it had me at the edge of my seat from start to finish. To this day, I have never read anything like it, and like I said before, the story has never left my brain. I am always thinking about it to this day, and I will always recommend it. The fourth book I have here is The Dollmaker of Krakow by R.M. Romero. I recently read this book a couple months ago or so, and I really enjoyed it, and I devoured it in one day. So this is a fairy tale like world that is very whimsical, and it follows our main character Carolina, who is a living doll living in the land of dolls. Unfortunately, her world is being torn apart by rats, and when things are looking their bleakest, she ends up waking up in the real world, which is during World War II in Poland. So then here she meets the Dollmaker, and they become very close friends, and then they end up becoming good friends with a Jewish family, which consists of a father and daughter. But unfortunately, times are getting rougher for this time period, and you end up crying. Basically. Romero's writing is incredibly beautiful, and she really knows how to put in some deep emotion into all of these scenes of these Nazis bursting into like the Dollmaker's workshop and degrading all of the Jews and like the camps and everything. Is very hard to read, but I flew through this so quickly, and I could not help but add it to this list, and I highly recommend everyone to pick this one up because it's different because of the magical doll aspect, which kind of adds like a childish story to it, but with the very realistic story of World War II and Krakow, Poland. And the final book that I have on this list that I totally believe in you that you can read in a day is The Wolf Wilder by Catherine Rundell. I chose this book to be on this list because it truly packs a punch, and the story proves that sometimes the bravest of individuals come in the smallest but fiercest packages, like me. So in this story, we follow Fedora and her mother, who live in the deep Russian wilderness. It's always been just the two of them, and they have a very interesting occupation. They teach domestic wolves to be wild again. Theo and her mother make a living doing this, and it's truly their passion. They love doing what they do, but because of this, Theo is actually considered wild herself, which in turn causes a lot of trouble for them when one day a group of people end up showing up at their doorstep to do some bad things. I've always had a fondness for middle grade because of how the protagonists are always really quirky and snarky and sassy and just so adorable, and that's no exception for Theodora. She's fierce and determined and has a deep devotion for her wolves, who are beautiful and magical themselves. I don't know, this one also had me kind of a sappy mess, to be honest. I don't know, anytime a story has to do with animals, I'm always worried. But this is a very heartfelt fairy tale that's wrapped in a nice, warm, furry package. And very short. So I believe in you. Alright, so those were 5 books that I totally think that you guys can read in a day, if not in a single weekend. They're very short, they're very fast-paced, and they will hook you at page 1 and you'll want to read all the way through. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up for me. It helps me out so much. And also, don't forget to subscribe. I upload videos every single week. Go ahead and follow me on my social media. I am at Holly Hearts Books on Instagram and at Holly Niece on Twitter. I am very active on both of those, so go do the thing. And until we meet again, happy reading.